Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Today's video, we're going to go over my fusion plan for Zinogre Blademaster. So we have a fragment fusion going on for her right now. You know, aesthetically, she doesn't really look like a Shadowkin to me. Like, to be fair, like, she kind of looks more barbarian. And her kind of like animation style just doesn't really match raid style. I don't know, just something I noticed I thought I would mention in this video. But let's go over her fusion schedule together. There's a couple of tricky things going on with it, but I think overall it's definitely a bit of an easier fragment fusion. But yeah, like I said, there's a couple things to look out for, so let's jump right into it. All right, so on release day of this video, we're going to be having the champ training, dragon tournament, and dungeon diver all starting on the same day. That's actually kind of not normal, usually having dungeon divers, I think more often on day 2, but it's really good. These are 3 really good events to have stacked up on top of each other, because if you have a solo farmer for dragon, you can farm food, you can do a dragon tournament, and you can do a dungeon diver all together in the same time. Tomorrow we have a summon rush. There is a there's a progressive event going on, so it's 15x to start up to 25x. The main prize in this one would be the archer monster hunter themed champion. She's insanely strong for Hydra. She has a great kit for Hydra. And definitely probably the real prize from the 5 Monster Hunter themed champions. However, this also poses an interesting situation for people considering going for the summon rush. Because if you look at this event, there's actually, hold on, let me move my head. So if you look at this event, there's actually a total of 115 fragments. So that allows us 15 fragments worth of events or tournaments that we can skip. So you can see here, the summon rush is only worth 15. Usually it's worth 20. So in this case, it's only worth 15 fragments. So this is a good candidate for a full skip if we can complete the rest of the events. If we fast forward a little bit, we look at the champion chase, also 15. So you have a choice here of only completing one of these summoning events. You can skip the summon rush coming up tomorrow, or you can skip the champion chase coming up next week. This is an interesting situation because the summon rush happening tomorrow is for a 15 up to 25x for the new archer champion, which, like I said, is insanely good for Hydra. It has an insanely unique kit. It has provoke and hex on the same move and a 3-turn hex along with that. So she's an insane support champion, will be very sought after. That's actually making the decision harder for me. For myself, I'm actually low on shards, so doing the summon rush doesn't make too much sense for me. However, the allure of this archer champion is very strong. Given that even with 15x progressive chance, the odds of you pulling archer is actually very, very low. So keeping that in mind, I think personally I will pass on the summon rush tomorrow and complete the rest of the events. This would allow me to save most of my shards, because there's actually something else that's probably popping up. So I'm on the official Plarium site. This gives us some info on the Monster Hunter themed champion. So the archer I'm talking about here is RN Archer. She's going to be in the progressive chance event, summon event tomorrow. However, like I said, it might be worthwhile to save some of your shards, because Plarium Blademaster is confirmed to be one of the champions that will be in extra in-game events, which would be likely, I believe either, I would think it's going to be, hold on, Hero's Path. You see it here, collection finishing dedicated to Hero's Path event. So this Hero's Path event for this Plarium might actually be another spot where you want to save your shards for. So that's why skipping the summon rush, even though you're skipping the chance for archer, you know, it really sucks, but you're going to get another chance to use these shards for this other Blademaster sometime in the future. Now, we don't know if this Hero's Path event will happen during the fusion or after the fusion, because the dates show January, February. That doesn't really mean too much, but it could mean that the Hero's Path event could be after the fusion. That's what I'm thinking. And then we know that Fatalis will be from Void Shards, And then Zinogre is from the Fragment Fusion, and Rathalos is the 7-day login. So with that being said, one final word about the Archer is that even though if you're missing out on the 15x for tomorrow, which I am, apparently there's a rumor in game that mentions there might be a Prism summon event for Archer in the future. It's a little bit vague here. It says in her dedicated summon pool. A 15x is a dedicated summon pool for her, but that does not rule out a potential for a Prism summon event in the near future for her. So I'm holding my breath for that, but maybe that's possible. So just something out to look out for. So back onto the schedule here. So the problem here with the first Dragon tournament is that you have to complete the Dragon tournament fully for the Dungeon Divers. So usually it's kind of nice to have a Dragon tournament, like basically 2 farming dungeon tournaments to go along into one Dungeon Diver, because the 3,700 points needed for the Dungeon Divers basically requires roughly 5,000 energy roughly. 5,000 energy can pretty much complete the Dragon tournament and the Ice Golem tournament, or complete the Dragon tournament twice over. So you're kind of wasting or spending extra energy on the Dragon tournament instead of another tournament if it was overlapping. So that's a little bit unfortunate. So that means you're doing the Ice Golem tournament by itself. However, you do hit the Dungeon Diver here, so there will be a little bit of a delay here. You could use the energy to finish off your champion training if you're still lacking there, but I would advise to save the Ice Golem for the second Dungeon Diver tournament, Dungeon Diver event, if you can do that. Arena, that's an easy check mark. Artifact enhancement event, hopefully no inflation. We were seeing a little bit of creeping up on the prices lately, especially on one of the artifact enhancement events outside of the fusion. I believe the top milestone was about 7,000 points. It was actually crept up and the rewards were awful. But then the one following that one, the amounts did go down. So maybe they were just testing the waters with how everyone was participating in that one. So hopefully there's no inflation on the enhancement events. I see 3 enhancement events. So, budget 20 million per enhancement event. So after you're doing the Ice Golem here, you're finishing up the Dungeon Diver, you will get to do some of the Fire Knight along with the Ice Golem. So you're going to complete the Ice Golem with this Dungeon Diver. Are you going to complete the Fire Knight with the second Dungeon Diver? I think it's probably a good idea to do that. You will be spending extra energy into Ice Golem. So either you want to spend extra energy into Ice Golem, or you want to spend the minimum on both and then finish off the second Dungeon Divers. If that is the case and you finish off the Fire Knight with the second Dungeon Diver, that means you will be going full ham with the Spire tournament in the last Dungeon Divers. So you're looking at about 5k energy there. That's not a bad thing, and Spider's pretty easy to farm, so that might be what you guys be looking to do. However, there is a champion training event here, sandwiched between the Fire Knight and the Spider tournament. Not the best tournaments to farm food in, so this is going to be one of those events where either you have shards, you want to complete the Summon Rush and the Champion's Chase, and you're skipping this, or you will be doing this with basically like brews, or doing it through campaign, so through the hard way. So otherwise, this is actually not too bad. So there's a couple of trouble spots here. Obviously, this Ice Golem tournament would just take some extra energy. So that's basically where all your gems and extra pots will go into. Everything else. I mean the Dragon tournament will take some extra energy. So you're going to be spending, you're probably going to be spending your personal rewards, CBC energy, any extra pots and stuff here. And then the Ice Golem Fire Knight will probably go into Dungeon Diver, and then Spider full ham on the last Dungeon Diver. Shard events, very reasonable. You can skip one. That's actually really, really nice in this case. Personally, Champion Chase is easier on the shards. I'm going to go for a Champion Chase. I'm not swimming in shards right now, but I can definitely I can still do both events, but I don't really want to do that. I want to save some shards, so I'm going to probably skip the Summon Rush and then go for the Champion Chase. Fuse or pull some champions is just easier that way. Or pull some mystery shards. And otherwise, pretty easy champion tournament or event to complete. In terms of Zinogre, I don't think she's going to be insane. There's some talks of her working well with Mikage for Hard Fire Knight for an extra damage dealer. Yes, she can do that, but she's not going to be able to drop turn meter or anything like that. There's some talks about her being good for Clan Boss, or you know, or for soloing Sand Devil. There's some things wrong with soloing Sand Devil. Is that her kit? Hold on, let me bring up her kit here. So her kit here basically brings her back to life on a 4-turn cooldown, similar to how I guess people are thinking about the whole Blizzard fusion and how he can solo Sand Devil now and what so forth. So the problem with her is that her base stats are not as good as Blizzard, and Blizzard actually has to survive multiple turns in regeneration gear in order to get his cooldowns back so that he can revive again when the big hit comes. So for Zinogre to do the same thing, it's going to be pretty stat intensive, I think. I don't know. It might still be possible. But you're giving up quite a bit of stats, HP, and defense compared to Blizzard to make this work on her. And still you need a 5-star Brimstone Blessing on her. Which, unless there's a hero path for a 5-star Brimstone for her, like, it's probably not too viable right now. But you never know. There could be a hero's path showing up. You never know. That has a Brimstone, that has a blessing for her. Seems like that actually seems kind of plausible. So maybe that's tied into the Hero's Path event for Alturion, the other Blademaster. But probably unlikely. Anyways, guys, I'm going for her just for, completing the Pokedex. And also, she's part of the Shadowkin. So if I ever pull her from a shard, then I'll get a dupe. And it helps for Faction Guardians and whatnot. That's basically what I'm... most of her value is for me. She's also worth 30,000 points for CVC that you can save for future use. And you never know, she could be really useful in Cintranos with all the champion restrictions nowadays. Adding more champions to your roster is definitely useful. Let me know in the comments below if you guys are going for her, what you guys think about this fusion or this fusion plan in general. And yeah, hopefully it works out for everybody. I think she's a decent champion, but nothing you will regret if you're skipping her, I think. But yeah, in the end, I will still be going for her. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Appreciate you all and have a great day. I'll see you guys in the next one.